Greetings. All paths are fantastic. All paths are good. All paths lead to the ultimate destination. So there must not be any criticism on any path. All religions also lead to the same place. Any path, any method, any technique, any master, any way does all lead to one destination. So there is no question of criticism of any path. The only thing is, one must be able to choose according to one's own structure. There are so many factors like karmic structures are there, tendencies are there, habits are there, certain personality is there. So many factors are there. So it cannot be generalized. And also, paths, religion, all these are depending on various stages of evolution of consciousness. Like, one might transcend from one place to the other. Like somebody who is very religious, after a certain evolution, might transfer himself or herself into spirituality. Into spirituality, there are paths again. So there also there is Bhakti Marga, Raj Yoga is there, and Jnana Yoga is there, Karma Yoga is there. There also, depending on one's capabilities, abilities, and what suits one goes and adapts into that. There also evolution can happen. Somebody in the Bhakti Marg can evolve more into Jnana Marg, or somebody in the Karma Marga can get into Bhakti Marga. These all are not meant as a rigid paths, because it's all created by the divine. Everything leads to that. So it's simply, in simple terms, it is like catch which works for you, because not everything works for everybody. We have to understand that. If everything would have worked for everybody, then there would have not been any conflicts in this world. There are conflicts because only each path and each religion try to prove supremacy over the other paths, and there should not be any competition. Everybody should have the freedom to choose and go accordingly. Even inside paths also there are evolution stages. So every path, every religion has got certain sets of evolution, like lower, medium, and higher. Within that also there is consciousness rising. So what is applicable in a path or religion, generally when a person gets in, might not be applicable after a certain time, because the lower rung of teachings or practices is void for that person. They transcend to the next. It goes on, and it goes on to the higher tattvas, very deep higher. I always tell, there is a gross teaching and there is a subtle teaching. Gross path and a subtle path. Every path has got the gross and the subtle. Ultimately, from duality, everything turns into non-duality, because from non-duality only further progress is there. With rigid dualities, one cannot transcend many of one's own inhibiting factors. So there is absolutely no judgment for any paths. Everything is divine. All masters are divine. All paths are divine. All ways and all methods are divine. The only thing is what suits one. I always say that it cannot be generalized, because in every path, in every religion also, there are so many diversity, so many structures of people in so many different ways. A rigid system cannot be applied generally, but it is not possible to apply individually also. That's a practical problem. You cannot apply when there are masses, but it is to the evolution of the understanding and realization of the seeker to understand that there is nothing rigid and there is nothing to feel guilty or remorse about if one is evolving in that and one is discarding the lower ones and catching on the higher, because most of them are contradictory. The same teachings at one level is different, and same teachings on the other level is different. I can eventually talk out all those teachings which are very conflicting, both ends. So does it mean that that is right and this is wrong? No. At whichever stage of evolution a person is, they will perceive it in that manner. So usually the fights and the arguments happen between these two sect of people, even in the same path or the same religion also. One argues with one same teachings like this is this, the other argues with that. The wiseness, the evolution, the actual evolution of the soul consciousness is to understand that this is not true, that is not true. One goes beyond those teachings and preachings. It is when you let go of that. So that's very difficult to explain at this stage because it will not be understood what I'm saying. But if you look at all the methods and all the ways of the great mystics, the avadhuts, what they are teaching, look at Ribu Gita. Study the Ribu Gita. If you're getting confused, study the Avadhut Gita. Study the Chidakasha Gita. You will get clarity. Why these are not popular? Uddhav Gita of Lord Krishna. Again I'm telling you, Uddhav Gita, Ribu Gita, Avadhut Gita, Chidakasha Gita, Vairagya Shatakam, all, there are many. If you read that, why it is not popular? Because people are still not evolved from this level of consciousness. They are struggling and arguing and debating and they're remaining stuck in that. So only when you transcend that, you can understand that. Or if somebody is very eager to know what is beyond this, then they read these scriptures. Then you will start to know there is something beyond this also. You have to let go of these things also. So if I speak this grossly, it will not be making any sense. It will lead to more arguments and more triggers. You get very reactive as to what is this, because your system, your belief system is conditioned in a certain way. You believe in a rigid way. This is the way it is, because you are not seen outside the well. When you raise your awareness, a state of awareness, and in that state of awareness, when you read or you understand, you will see that it's all the same. See, there are many wells. We are all frog in the well. So every frog feels that my well only is the most superior. Why? Because they have not jumped out of the well. They don't know what's outside. But the frog who came and fell from outside into the well says that this is not the world. There is big world outside. The other frog argues, what, you don't know anything. This is world and this is the end. There is nothing beyond this. This is it. So the other frog laughs. This was told by Swami Vivekananda, this story. So what happens now? See, if you raise the awareness to a higher level, what happens? You rise out of the well and you see multiple wells. You see not one well. There are so many wells. But are they useless? No, because there are frogs living in all the wells. And it is important for every frog. Every well is important. But at a certain stage of evolution, this is what I am saying, one has to get out of the well. When you get out of the well, you don't spit back into the well and saying this, what kind of well? No, because that well has sustained you. That grace has sustained you. So you are ever grateful to that well, but you don't hold on to it. You move on. You move on with no disrespect to any other wells also. But now when you rise, you know that, all wells are the same, because, but inside the experiences are different for each frog. But once you get out of it, you come to know that you have to let go of even all the wells. Please understand this very clearly. I am not saying jumping from one well to the other. That will still make you bound to one well. One perception to the other, one idea to the other, one faith to the other, one path to the other, one master to the other, one religion to the other. No way. You will still be stuck in a different ideology. And that can be more destructive than constructive. What I am saying through this platform of shifting into awareness is shift into awareness and rise and see there is oneness in all this. There is not diversities. It doesn't matter if somebody is trying to prove that their well is the best. Our awareness will always show us, no, that's not true. Because every well wants everything to remain there only. Nothing else should go out, because that's everything for them. So what I'm trying to say is, when you rise above and you see this clarity, you will have nothing to do with any wells. At the same time, you will have nothing to disrespect or discredit any. No criticism about any. Comparative study also you can do at till a certain level. But after a certain level, even you have to leave all that. That is when you say you are going towards the self, towards the God consciousness, because the God consciousness only has created this wells. And he has no problem. He has no absolutely diversities. Problem is only in the wells. So if you have to go to that person who has no problem, You have to leave the wells who have all the problems and rise. Again, I'm telling you, when I say leave the well, I'm not saying leave this well and go to the other well. It's a trigger response to many who feel insecure suddenly when it comes about leaving the well. There is a big sense of insecurity, and that triggers a lot of things. So now we got to get this safe. Our well is collapsing. No, why will wells collapse? Wells will remain there, and more tadpoles will be there. Tadpoles will evolve there, and they will, from the egg level, from the egg level, tadpoles will become. From the tadpoles, they'll become the small frogs with the tails, and then the tail will vanish, and the frog will be a mature one. That process of egg to frog, for that, wells are needed. But after that, the frog goes if they want to go. If they want to be, it's choice, it's free will. Somebody wants to remain there, happy about it. But I feel when any frog evolves, their awareness will float them up. It will just float them up. And there is a lot of reverence and respect to their well that made the evolution possible for them, due to which they are even able to rise. See, it is due to the well, because if the egg level or if the tadpole would have died, it would have never become a frog and never even realized this. So there is utmost gratefulness and gratitude and respect to that particular well. But at the same time, there is same tendency, same percentage of respect and adorance to all the other wells, because now, if these are the experience of the well, those frogs also must be undergoing so many things. They are also frogs, they are also beings. So you have compassion for everything. So you respect the others. If they are evolving, they are also evolving. Everybody is evolving. But at a certain stage, read the Ribu Gita. These are not my teachings. This is not my gyan, my wisdom. This is what I am reflecting after a shift in awareness. When the awareness takes you to higher truths, this is what I call as higher truths. Then this is all revealed to you. The actual God consciousness is revealed to you. So these are all mediators. These books and these scriptures are mediators for those who are ready for it. Till then, it will not come into your hands. And I'm telling you, that's why it's unpopular. Nobody even knows about this. So I made many videos on these kind of scriptures. And this is not meant for everybody. Again, this is not meant for everybody. Those who feel inclined, only it is for them. This message also is not for everybody. It is only at a certain stage when somebody reaches and there is conflicts and confusions in the mind. What? It doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. That is because of this. Because I had that confusions and doubts and inability to correlate with anything and not understanding. There is conflict. Why is this that way? Why is the same teaching this way? This is because that level is still there. A little push up into awareness and it will become clear. The doubts have to be cleared on the path before going ahead. You cannot move ahead with the doubts. So what I am talking here is out of crystal clarity, and I have no doubt in this. It's my experience. What I am experiencing is what I am speaking. Hoping this will help you. Much divine love and light to you. Stay blessed.